I never imagined one summer vacation could completely transform my existence. When my parents suggested I spend a few weeks at my Aunt Melissa's place, I pictured peaceful days, delicious home-cooked dinners, and perhaps lending a hand with chores around the house. I certainly didn't anticipate the unusual conditions she laid out or the peculiar intensity in her eyes when she welcomed me at the entrance. That's how everything started. The instant she spoke in a steady yet authoritative tone, "I don't allow nephews in my house." At first I chuckled, assuming it was some kind of joke, but her face remained serious. That moment marked the beginning of my reality shifting into something unrecognizable. Aunt Melissa had always been an enigma within the family. As my mother's older sister, she had never married and dressed with a timeless sophistication that turned heads. She moved with such poise and command that even my parents approached her with caution. Growing up, I respected her self-assurance, her flawlessly arranged hair, and the elegant manner in which she navigated any space. Yet the moment I entered her home that summer, the atmosphere felt charged with unspoken expectations I hadn't yet discovered. Her house carried the scent of lavender and freshly waxed floors, with every detail immaculate and orderly. Delicate lace curtains softened the daylight into gentle patterns on the rugs. She offered a slight smile as I set my suitcase down, but her gaze traveled over me in a way that made me feel strangely diminished. "You'll be in the guest room," she announced, her voice brooking no argument. "And while you're staying here, you will abide by my rules." I nodded quickly, not wanting to start off on the wrong foot. She had always struck me as imposing, and now, alone in her domain, I felt like I was being evaluated closely. She invited me to sit at the dining table while she made tea. When she returned and placed a fine porcelain cup before me, she leaned in a little and echoed her earlier statement, her tone polished but unyielding. "I don't allow nephews in my house." This time my laugh came out shaky. "What do you mean, Aunt Melissa? I am your nephew." Her smile grew, yet it did nothing to calm my nerves. "Not in this house, you're not," she answered plainly, lifting her own cup for a sip. "If you're going to remain under my roof, you'll live according to my preferences." I stared at her, bewildered. Maybe she was talking about household duties or a rigid daily routine. "All right, so what exactly do you want from me?" She placed her cup down, her manicured nails catching the light, and regarded me as though weighing whether to share something significant. "You'll understand before long. For now, just remember, I don't accept nephews here, only nieces." Her statement lingered heavily, too bizarre to absorb right away. I wanted to challenge her, to push for clarity, but her commanding presence made resistance feel difficult. She wore authority effortlessly, and I, feeling out of place and unsure, simply agreed with a nod. That first night, sleep eluded me. The guest room was comfortable, painted in soft pastels with books lining the shelves, yet my thoughts kept circling back to her words. Only nieces. What could that possibly mean for me? I had come as her nephew, but was she truly intent on altering that? It seemed absurd. Still, her absolute conviction made it feel like far more than a casual comment. The following morning, breakfast was already laid out beautifully. Fresh fruit, warm toast, and perfectly cooked eggs. She sat across from my plate, calmly enjoying her coffee. "Good morning," she greeted me with a serene yet observant smile. "Go ahead and eat. We have plans for today." Still groggy, I took my seat and began. "What kind of plans?" "You'll find out," she replied, offering nothing more. After we finished, she guided me upstairs to a door I hadn't seen before. She unlocked it, and as I stepped in, I stopped short in surprise. It wasn't merely a room, it was a spacious wardrobe, almost like a private boutique. Rows of dresses in every shade, shelves filled with elegant heels, and jewelry cases sparkling with gold and pearls. A subtle fragrance of perfume hung in the air. "Whose collection is this?" I asked, stunned. "Mine," she said casually, resting a light hand on my shoulder. "But for the duration of your stay, it belongs to you as well." I turned toward her, pulse quickening with confusion. "Mine? But these are all women's clothes." Her expression softened even as her grip on my shoulder grew slightly firmer. "Didn't I make it clear? I don't allow nephews, only nieces." I let out another nervous laugh, scrambling for a response. "You're saying you want me to put these on? Dresses and everything?" Her lips formed a confident smile free of any hesitation. "Precisely. While you're living under my roof, you'll be my niece, and I'll teach you how to fulfill that role beautifully." I shook my head and stepped back. "That's ridiculous. My parents sent me here for a normal summer vacation, Not for. My words faded as she held my gaze steadily, unflinching. Not for what? She prompted smoothly. I swallowed. Not for this. Her gentle laugh carried undeniable weight. You'll discover, my dear, that what your parents had in mind doesn't apply here. In my house, I set the rules. If you truly wish to stay, you'll adjust accordingly. I longed to protest, to reject the idea completely, but standing there surrounded by silk, lace, and dainty footwear, I felt trapped. She wasn't issuing direct threats, yet her commanding presence felt inescapable, like an unavoidable force. Something inside warned me that fighting her would prove far more. That day she didn't push me to dress immediately. Instead, she walked me through the wardrobe, highlighting different materials, hues, and designs. Every niece should appreciate the art of presentation, she remarked, running her fingers along a smooth satin gown. You'll pick it up with time. By nightfall I felt utterly worn out, the pressure of her peculiar demands hanging over me. As I sat in bed later, gazing at the pastel walls, the truth settled in. This was no prank. She was completely serious. And tomorrow, she would begin turning her intentions into reality. As I lay there unable to rest, the door eased open and Aunt Melissa's outline appeared in the soft glow from the hallway. She held something that caught faint glimmers of light. As she approached, "It's time, sweetheart," she murmured tenderly, her voice smooth as velvet. My pulse quickened when I saw she carried a dress, and this time she wasn't requesting. She was expecting compliance. The next morning I awoke with the image of her silhouette still fresh in my thoughts. Part of me hoped it had all been a vivid dream, that the shimmering dress had been imaginary. But when I entered the kitchen, she stood there composed as ever, the same dress laid carefully across a chair. "Good morning, sweetheart," she said warmly yet with clear intent. "I've chosen your outfit for today." My throat went dry. My outfit? I asked cautiously, already sensing the answer. She nodded toward the chair. The dress was a gentle lavender, falling to the knee with lovely lace trim at the collar. It wasn't overly fancy, just feminine, comfortable, and refined for a first step. I stood frozen in the doorway, grasping for reasons to refuse. "Aunt Melissa, I can't wear that. What if someone notices?" Her smile remained steady. "No one will see you unless I decide otherwise. But inside this house, you'll wear what I provide. That's simply how it is." I wavered, heart hammering. She stepped nearer and rested a caring yet resolute hand on my shoulder. "Ryan," she said quietly, her eyes unwavering, "you can resist me at every turn, or you can allow me to lead the way. Which choice do you believe will make your summer more pleasant?" The way she posed it left only one real option. I gave a reluctant nod, lips pressed together. Her smile broadened. "Good. That's the right attitude." She passed me the dress and pointed toward the guest room. "Go ahead and change. I'll be right here waiting." Alone in the room, I gazed at the soft lavender material. The fabric felt lightweight and smooth, almost inviting. I drew in a deep breath and muttered to myself, "This is completely crazy." Yet her footsteps sounded faintly in the hallway, a constant reminder. With shaky fingers, I finally slipped it on. The dress glided over me more smoothly than I'd anticipated, the cool cloth brushing my skin. It fit in certain areas and draped loosely in others, but there was no escaping how transformed I appeared. Catching sight of myself in the mirror, I barely recognized the reflection. I nearly tore it off, but her voice came through the door before I could act. "Are you ready?" I paused, then answered quietly, "Yes." The door opened and she entered, her face brightening with delight. "Oh, darling," she exclaimed, bringing her hands together. "You look wonderful." Warmth flooded my cheeks, a blend of humiliation and an unfamiliar feeling I couldn't quite identify. "I look absurd," I mumbled, turning my eyes away. She lifted my chin softly, making me meet her gaze. "No, you look lovely. You only feel it's absurd because the world has always told boys they can't wear dresses. But here, you're not my nephew anymore. You're my niece, and soon you'll understand how right this can feel." Her words held a curious power, challenging the uncertainties swirling inside me. I didn't want to accept them, yet the conviction in her voice made me doubt my own instincts. That day she wouldn't let me switch back. I remained in the dress while she taught me proper posture, how to sit correctly, and the graceful way to walk. "A niece should always move with poise and dignity," she explained, gently correcting my shoulders until they aligned perfectly. Whenever I slipped up, she stayed patient yet insistent. Again,
she would direct. Chin up. No dragging your feet. Move smoothly. It felt uncomfortable, unnatural, even mortifying. But each adjustment showed me she had no intention of backing down. She had decided, and in her home, her decisions ruled. By evening I was drained, my muscles sore from practice, my mind frayed by endless observation. Yet when she let me sit for dinner, her proud smile appeared. You did very well today, better than I anticipated. I wanted to protest, to confess how much I disliked it all. But somewhere deeper, a tiny part of me I hated acknowledging felt oddly touched by her approval. That night, changing back into my usual clothes, I reflected on how effortlessly she had bent me to her will and how swiftly she had rewritten the boundaries of my world. A chill ran through me as I realized this was merely the start. As I drifted towards sleep, I heard the soft creak of a closet door. I sat up quickly, pulse racing, and saw Aunt Melissa slipping into my room. She carried not only another dress but also a small box. She placed it on the nightstand and whispered, "Tomorrow you'll take the next step. Clothing is only the beginning." Then she departed, leaving me staring at the mysterious box, my mind spinning with possibilities. The following morning, gentle sunlight filtered through the lace curtains, but I hardly registered it. My attention had been fixed on the little box since she left it. It looked harmless, yet it pulsed with unanswered questions. Clothes were only the beginning, she had said. What else could there be? I reached out hesitantly, fingertips grazing the lid, but a knock interrupted me. "Ryan." Aunt Melissa's voice drifted in, composed and commanding. "Time to dress. And bring the box with you." I froze. Of course she knew I'd been fixated on it. Rising from bed, I grabbed the box, my hands clammy as if it held something hazardous. In the dining room, breakfast waited as always, warm croissants, fresh fruit, and fragrant tea in elegant cups. She motioned for me to sit. "Open it," she instructed simply, watching me with calm anticipation. I swallowed nervously and lifted the lid. Inside, arranged neatly on silk, were several small items: a compact mirror, a tube of gentle pink lipstick, a brush, and delicate flower-shaped hair clips. I stared, stunned. "Makeup?" I stammered. Her smile deepened just a touch. "Naturally. A niece is never fully prepared without the final details. Yesterday was the dress. Today you'll learn how to present yourself correctly." I shook my head fast, nudging the box slightly aside. No, no, no. The dresses were already too much. But makeup? I can't. What if someone sees? What if word gets out? She leaned closer, her eyes keen yet understanding. "Ryan, listen closely. No one will see you unless I permit it. You're safe here. But know this, resisting won't alter what's required. You can fight it, or you can accept it. Either path, my rules remain." Her unshakable confidence left me feeling cornered. My heart pounded as she slid the mirror toward me. "Try it," she urged gently. "Begin with the lipstick." I gazed at the pink tube, my faint reflection staring back from the mirror. My lips felt parched. My hand shook as I picked it up, slowly twisting until the color emerged. "Gently," she coached. "No need to hurry. Use light, careful strokes." Awkwardly, I dabbed the color onto my lips, my hands shaking with uneven strokes. The face staring back from the mirror looked softer somehow, but still strange and unfamiliar. Melissa let out a gentle laugh. "Not bad for your first attempt, but let me fix that." She moved closer, tilting my chin with steady hands. Her touch was soft yet commanding as she blended the color evenly, leaving me feeling oddly vulnerable and small. Once she was done, she stepped back with a satisfied smile. "There we go, much nicer now." I couldn't meet my own gaze in the reflection, a flush creeping up my face. I don't like it," I murmured. She reached out and tucked a loose strand of hair behind my ear, securing it with a pretty flower clip. "That's only because it's new to you. Just give it some time. You'll start seeing yourself the way I do." "And how exactly do you see me?" I blurted out before I could catch myself. Her expression warmed. A young lady discovering her true self. I wanted to push back, to insist I wasn't a girl, that I was still her nephew, just a boy stuck following her odd rules. But the confidence in her tone, the quiet certainty, made the words die in my throat. The rest of the morning unfolded with unexpected training. She showed me how to brush my hair the right way, how to sit properly at the table, even how to soften my voice when answering her questions.
Each adjustment came with gentle but unyielding guidance. Every lesson carried the same clear message: none of this was optional anymore. By afternoon, she positioned me before the large mirror in the living room. I was wearing a different dress of hers, a light peach one that swayed softly around my legs. My hair fell smooth and neat, held by a clip, while a subtle pink tint colored my lips. I gazed at the image, caught between humiliation and shock. "I don't even recognize myself," I whispered. Melissa rested a hand lightly on my shoulder. "That's exactly the idea, sweetheart. In this house, you're not my nephew anymore. You're my niece. The quicker you embrace that, the smoother everything will be." That evening over dinner, she spoke with quiet assurance, as if laying out plans I couldn't fully grasp. "Tomorrow," she said, her eyes sparkling, "we'll venture out for a short while. It's time you start experiencing the world as the girl you're becoming." My fork paused midair. "Outside? Like this? In the dress and makeup?" She gave a slow nod, her smile steady. "Yes. Don't worry, darling, I'll stay right by your side. The world will see you exactly as I do, and once they do, there's no turning back." That night, I tossed in bed, eyes fixed on the ceiling as my heart raced with fear. Tomorrow meant stepping out dressed as her niece. The idea filled me with terror. But when I turned over, my gaze landed on the small makeup case on the nightstand. Something new had appeared beside it, a dainty silver bracelet with tiny charms. A handwritten note lay next to it. "Wear this tomorrow. It will make everything official." Morning light filtered through the soft pastel curtains of the guest room, casting a gentle glow. My eyes went straight to the silver bracelet on the nightstand, its charms catching the sun with little hearts and flowers. I sat up, a knot of anxiety tightening in my belly. Today wasn't just indoor practice. Today she planned to take me outside. Beyond those windows, people would see me not as Ryan, her nephew, but as her niece. I showered slowly, dragging out every moment to postpone the inevitable. When I finally entered the dining room, Melissa was already there, looking polished in a neat blouse and flowing skirt. The lavender dress from before waited on the table, neatly folded beside the silver bracelet. "Good morning," she said warmly, her voice full of that steady command. "Today's a big one. Eat up, then get changed. We shouldn't dawdle." I had no appetite, but I managed a few bites of toast while she drank her tea, watching me closely. When I finished, she nodded toward the dress. I hesitated, gripping the fabric. "Do we have to go through with this?" I asked, my voice smaller than intended. "Yes," she replied simply, brooking no argument. "You've done fine within these walls, but now the outside world needs to meet who you're becoming. You have to learn to carry yourself properly, even under others' eyes." I changed with reluctance, slipping the dress on and feeling its light, unfamiliar softness. When I came out, she smiled with approval. "Beautiful. Now the bracelet." I lifted it, the charms cool on my skin. Clasping it on felt heavier than expected, like it sealed something lasting. Melissa adjusted it carefully. "There," she said softly. "Now you're all set." I glanced at the mirror across the room. The figure looking back bore little resemblance to the boy I'd been a week earlier. The dress, the hair clip, the bracelet, they all blended together until I could hardly spot the old me. Melissa placed her hands on my shoulders. "Ready?" "I don't think I can," I admitted, throat tight. "You can," she said firmly. "Because you have to, and I'll be with you the whole time." Her words didn't ease my nerves, but they stopped me from backing out. Soon we were descending the front steps into the warm summer breeze. My pulse hammered as I scanned the quiet street. She guided me gently toward the little market a couple blocks away. "Chin up, shoulders back," she murmured. "No slouching. Confidence matters." I tried to follow, but each step felt exposed, like performing under bright lights. My thoughts swirled with worries. What if someone knew me? What if they pointed and laughed? At the store, Melissa browsed the aisles with ease, selecting items and chatting casually with the cashier. She behaved as if everything was perfectly normal, as if taking her niece shopping was routine. "Good morning," the clerk said kindly, smiling at me. "And who is this charming young lady?" Panic surged through me. Before I could mumble anything, Melissa answered smoothly. "This is my niece. She's visiting for the summer." The words flowed naturally, and the clerk accepted them without a second thought. My legs felt weak, my cheeks burning. He actually believed it. On the way home, I shook with nerves. Melissa took my arm calmly. That's precisely what he was supposed to believe.
You see, the world accepts what we present. And I present my niece. We returned home, my mind spinning. Just a week ago, I'd been plain old Ryan visiting his aunt. Now here I stood in a lavender dress, silver bracelet tinkling, called a young lady by a stranger. Back inside, Melissa put away the bags and faced me. You handled that beautifully. The first time out is always toughest, but notice, no one laughed, no one questioned. They simply saw what was there. I swallowed, words failing me. She stepped closer, gently brushing hair from my face. This is just the start, my dear. Soon you'll realize this isn't only my rule, it's becoming your truth. That night, after she went to bed, I sat at the vanity she'd prepared for me. The mirror was open, lipstick catching the light. My hands shook as I reached for the bracelet to remove it. But the clasp held fast, it was locked. And on the inside of the band, faint engraving caught my eye, no nephews. Only nieces. The words burned in my mind. I sat there frozen under the lamp's glow, fingers tugging uselessly at the clasp again and again. It wouldn't give. Panic rose. Melissa hadn't said anything about this. She'd just fastened it with that smile. But it meant more. My breathing quickened. Part of me wanted to storm to her room and demand answers. Yet something held me back. Her explanations always left me more confused, and I wasn't sure I could handle what she'd say. Morning brought no comfort. At breakfast, Melissa greeted me with her usual serene smile, her own bracelet peeking from her sleeve. She didn't comment on my weary eyes or shaky hands. Instead, she placed a small box on the table. What's this? I asked warily. A present, she replied easily. For my niece. The word hit like a weight. I opened it to find a lovely hairbrush with a carved handle and soft bristles. You'll use this daily, she explained while sipping tea. Proper grooming is key. It's part of who you are becoming. I stared at her, but she cut off any protest. No objections. No debates. You'll do as I say, Ryan. Then, almost casually, she added, or perhaps I should say, not Ryan anymore, locking eyes with me in challenge. My throat closed. I looked down at the brush, feeling it more like another link in a chain. The day continued with further training. She had me pace the living room balancing books on my head, fixing my posture whenever I slipped. Shoulders back, chin up. Grace above all, she directed. Her tone stayed patient but carried total expectation. By afternoon, my legs ached from the heels, and my voice felt strained from practicing the lighter tone she demanded. You need to sound the part too, she reminded me. Everything has to match. I fought back tears, wanting to shout how unfair it all was, how I never asked for any of it. But when she praised me, much better, my dear, a confusing blend of shame and reluctant pride stirred inside. That evening, she brought warm milk and cookies to my room, sitting on the bed and smoothing my hair. You're progressing wonderfully, she whispered. Soon, no one will remember Ryan. They'll only see the girl you were destined to be. I swallowed thickly. Why are you doing this? Her smile gentled, though her eyes held firm resolve. Because I always promised myself I'd have a niece, never a nephew. And then you came along. Later, as uneasy sleep took me, a soft click woke me. The door opened, and Melissa slipped in like a shadow, carrying a long garment bag. Unaware I was watching, she hung it in the closet and murmured to herself, tomorrow she'll be ready for the next step. Then she left, locking the door behind her. The following morning, my mind replayed the nighttime visit. The whisper, the mysterious bag, the locked door. Sleep had been restless, my fingers constantly turning the bracelet, its charms a constant reminder of permanence. Melissa arrived at 8 with breakfast, calm as ever. Good morning, my dear. Today's special, you'll need your strength. I hesitated. Special? What do you mean? Her smile stayed warm but resolute. Get dressed and I'll tell you on the way. I approached the wardrobe on shaky legs and pulled out the dress from the garment bag. It felt substantial, almost formal. Unfolding it, I stopped cold. The shimmering cream and pale pink fabric featured delicate lace and embroidered flowers. The fitted bodice looked like something from another world. I can't wear this, I whispered, voice trembling. Melissa appeared behind me, hand on my shoulder. You can, and you will. This is the next phase, sweetheart. You've come so far, today you'll grasp the full change. I swallowed. Change. I'm still Ryan, your nephew. Her grip tightened gently. Not here. Not anymore. You're my niece. And soon others will see you that way too. My stomach churned. Part of me longed to flee, but a smaller, curious part held back. She'd brought me this far, reshaping everything about me. Could I really fight the final stage? She handed me accessories, gloves, a necklace, matching shoes. Everything's prepared for you. Wear it all just as I've taught. I nodded silently. Dressing felt dreamlike. In the mirror stood someone new, a carefully styled girl where a boy had been. Melissa studied me thoroughly. Perfect, she breathed. I wanted to protest, but her unwavering calm silenced me. She gave me a small purse. We'll take a brief walk down the block. Important practice for carrying yourself publicly.
No cutting corners. The idea of even that short distance terrified me, but her authority left no room for refusal. Outside, the air felt different against the formal outfit. Neighbors passed, glancing our way. Melissa held my hand steadily as I walked carefully, heels tapping the sidewalk. Grace, poise, confidence, she coached softly. Even if it feels strange, it must appear natural. I nodded, breathing deeply. The world felt bigger and harsher, yet no one mocked me. No one stared oddly. Her steady presence protected me. Returning home, my body ached but something inside had changed. I couldn't ignore it anymore. Her guidance had reshaped me deeply. That night, back in my room, the bracelet gleamed on the vanity. A new note waited underneath. Tomorrow we meet your reflection fully. You won't recognize the girl staring back, and neither will anyone else. My heart raced. What did fully mean? Staring at the charms, I sensed I was entering something irreversible. The next morning brought bright sunlight and fresh dread. I stood before the mirror, bracelet in place, replaying yesterday's outing. Melissa entered with another garment bag. Good morning. Today we finish what we began. I stiffened. Finish it. Her eyes held kindness mixed with steel. You've mastered walking, speaking, and looking the part. Now it's about truly embodying her, in confidence and presence. Ready? I wanted to resist, but a quiet voice reminded me there was no choice here. I followed her to the wardrobe. She revealed a stunning dress in shifting pastel shades with intricate embroidery. It was more than fabric. It was a declaration. She added gloves, shoes, and a small tiara. Every detail counts. Perfection from head to toe. I trembled, holding the dress. This is too much. I can't. Hush, she whispered, finger to my lips. You've come this far. Trust the process. Embrace who you're becoming. I changed with unsteady hands, each movement feeling both alien and fated. The mirror showed a complete stranger, a poised, elegant young woman. Melissa adjusted the tiara. Look at her, she said proudly. This is who you were always meant to be. Speechless, I studied the reflection. Me, yet not me. Today we go out fully dressed. Face the world as her. No doubts, only confidence. Outside, the air felt sharper. Heels clicked with every step beside her. Neighbors looked, but no one questioned. Melissa whispered encouragement. You're already perfect, but true perfection shows in movement, voice, and bearing. Everything is observed. I nodded, throat dry. The weight of it all pressed in, yet I moved forward. Back home, she had me sit. One last touch. From a box came a delicate pendant. As she fastened it, a strange warmth spread. This completes everything. Once on, there's no return. You're no longer Ryan. You're my niece, my proud creation. I reached for it instinctively, but she covered my hand. No resistance. Not anymore. That night, the accessories felt like bonds in the mirror's glow. I heard her voice outside the door. Tomorrow the world meets her completely. No more nephew. The following morning, I stood fully adorned before the mirror. Everything was in place, yet turmoil raged within. Melissa entered calmly. It's time. The world is waiting. My stomach knotted. Time for what? I knew, though. She adjusted my hair. After all these weeks of shaping you, today you step fully into the light. Watch how naturally everyone accepts my creation. I nodded faintly. The mirror showed confidence and femininity, but inside I still wrestled with the old self. She took my hand. Walk with me. We went out. Neighbors smiled, offered greetings and compliments. Every lesson guided my steps, graceful, precise. Beneath the surface, emotions churned. By our return,
exhaustion mixed with a profound shift. The world had seen me as she intended, and I'd endured. More than that, I began to understand. This went beyond clothes or makeup. It was about identity, power, and her complete hold over me. That evening, she visited once more. "You've done excellently. This is you now, my creation, always." I nodded, fingers on the bracelet, pendant against my skin. The mirror showed someone new, yet real. Acceptance felt necessary. There was no reversing it. As she left, she whispered, "Tomorrow the world will know her completely. Some changes last forever, Ryan." I shivered, realizing the girl in the mirror was here to stay, and wondering if Ryan would ever return. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more incredible transformation tales. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next suspenseful chapter. And remember, sometimes the world reshapes you whether you're prepared or not.